Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host Tom Downey. Today's video is made possible by Manscaped. As a reminder folks, when you head over to manscaped.com and you use promo code Cowboys, you'll get 20% off and free shipping on all their fantastic men's grooming products, including the new Lawnmower 4.0. And speaking of 4, let's begin with Dak Prescott on today's video. He is back. He is throwing at OTAs, and everything looks good despite the claim that, you could get cut in June, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, not going to happen, right? Dak has said repeatedly now he could play in a game right this moment if needed. Now, I think the Cowboys are saying, Dak, don't push it too hard, but Dak Prescott did post on his Instagram some photos from the opening day of OTAs, and everything looks pretty good there. For starters, shout out Dak Prescott despite having the busted up right leg, finding a way to not skip leg day at all. Everything looks good. Everything looks good there. Everything looks fantastic. I don't see anything weird with the ankle. It all looks good to me. It all looks good. The throwing looks good. Again, it's still photos. I don't want to overreact too much, but not in a bulky ankle brace. He's out there throwing like he's been doing in his backyard for a while. But everything looks great in terms of Dak Prescott and his recovery. So if you guys are excited about the return here for Dak Prescott, I want you guys to like today's video. We should get a lot of likes because why wouldn't you like it? If you're excited about Dak Prescott, aren't you? So do it right now. Like today's video for me. Let's talk Jaylon Smith. First, the trade part, then we'll get to the number and jersey stuff, I know. I'm giving this one star. I was rather surprised to come across this idea from Fansided, and it actually came from the Broncos Fansided, not the Cowboys one. They were like, go trade for Jaylon Smith. Now, as a reminder, the Cowboys are not going to cut Jaylon Smith. I still see that floated out there. They save $0. That makes absolutely no sense. The minute his base salary guaranteed on the 5th day of the league year, he was locked in for the Cowboys for 2021. Now, if they could find a trade partner, I'm going to go fairly unlikely, the Broncos would take on his $7.2 million salary in 2021, and that would be the amount that Dallas also saves on the salary cap. Now, the Fansided article did not have a trade offer for Jaylon Smith, which disappoints me, but they were rather effusive in his praise. For the Cowboys, meanwhile, and I know for at least some of you out there, you're not so sold on Jaylon Smith, who, long-term, things look a little bit murky, because I think if the Cowboys get their way, in 2022, Micah Parsons and Jabril Cox would be the top 2 linebackers for this team. Now, I do think Jaylon played better down the stretch last year and was the best Cowboys linebacker out there, but there are some very valid concerns, namely in coverage and in some run fits, which is why I am surprised as I quote off this directly from the Fansided piece. Quote, Jaylon Smith is precisely what the Denver Broncos need. He has 4.4 speed and is excellent in coverage. No, he's not. I've watched Jaylon Smith kind of lumber around out there. I don't think he has 4.4 speed anymore, and he's not good in coverage. That's like the number one concern around Jaylon Smith. And frankly, for Denver, you got A.J. Johnson, Josie Jewell, Baron Browning, all pretty cheap. I think Jaylon Smith could definitely help them. If I'm Denver, I think I'd rather trade for Jordan Hicks, who's cheaper and probably like the same level of player. So I don't really think that makes any sense. In the end, I don't think Jaylon Smith gets traded. And I know that Jaylon Smith is not expected to trade either, as you guys, I'm sure, have heard, has changed his number. Number 54 is gone. Instead, it is number 9, as Jaylon Smith will now wear number 9. That is Tony Romo's number, of course, the most recent player to wear it there. Now, Smith reportedly spoke to Romo before this, which I guess is a good sign right there. Quick note, by the way, the move will cost him mid-6 figures to buy out all the merchandise of number 54. So Jaylon Smith is paying a pretty expensive penny to wear number 9. Of course, that was his college number at Notre Dame. Rather crazy there. Another quick aside here, Donovan Wilson, by the way, folks, will be wearing number 6. Now, that number, also his college number, I like much more than what he wore last year for the Cowboys. But I'm going to give you guys a chance here to chime in and let me know what you're thinking about this move by Jaylon Smith. Give me your one-word reaction to Jaylon Smith making the move to number 9 as opposed to number 54. I'm sure it won't be reactionary or divisive whatsoever, so get your votes in for me. All right, this is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. What do you think about Jaylon Smith wearing number 9? If you get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and get your votes in. Let's talk defense now here on the Dallas Cowboys Report. Namely, can Dan Quinn fix it all? That's kind of I'm going to go with hope more so than expectation around Quinn this upcoming season as he takes over the Dallas Cowboys defense. I do like that Dan Quinn's saying all the right things, all the right words are being thrown out there, the coaching buzzwords, what you want. And I do think he is an upgrade over Mike Nolan. But we'll get into his defense here and why the players also matter plenty here. I do want to get this quote from Dan Quinn in speaking with the Dallas Morning News about being the Cowboys DC and the changes he's making. Quote, I wanted real feedback. He was asked about talking with other coaches out there to make strides as a DC. I want it right between the eyes. Give me your vision, your truth. It wasn't easy because I didn't want just, hey, keep doing what you're doing. I wanted real feedback. I wanted to get to the truth of things that went well. I wanted to get to the truth of things that, hey man, this could have been done better. Otherwise, some of the pain of going through it would not have been worth it. That's exactly what you want the fired head coach to say. Will it be implemented? We will see. And I know much has been made about the 3-4-4-3 stuff, which again, I wanted to mention here again. For starters, I want to emphasize that it's going to quote-unquote look like a 3-4 scheme. So this is a Falcons screenshot of Dan Quinn as the head coach, right? And this looks like a 3-4 lineup, right? You got 3 defensive linemen in 3-point stances or 4-point stances. Their hands are in the dirt. 2 stand-up edge rushers. Looks like a 3-4 scheme, right? But in Seattle, also with Dan Quinn, they're in what's called a 4-3 under. And it looks almost identical. You've got 3 defensive linemen. In this case, they've rolled a safety up into the box as well. Cam Chancellor almost playing like an extra linebacker there. But you've got a outside defensive end of the Leo mold, his hand in the dirt, and also an outside linebacker, that strong side linebacker. I am not that concerned about the difference between 4-3, 3-4, whatever, in base practice. Again, the base is going to be like 20-25% of the snaps. The only difference in the end, though, is that one of those outside guys is standing up. That's the only difference. In this case for Atlanta, the Leo was standing up, but he's still a pass rusher. So I'm actually far less concerned about the whole 4-3, 3-4. I think the scheme's going to be fine up front. You're going to be in 4 down anyway. What I'm actually most intrigued by is the secondary and how they're deployed and what coverages they use. I am not sold on this unit, especially this first year. It's still young and still a bit inexperienced. But Dan Quinn ran a lot of cover 3. Is that going to be the case? Or is he going to run more? The cover 3, cover 1 styles are referred to middle of the field covered, MOFC, because there's a guy that free safety is in the middle of the field. Cover packages that are more like, cover 4, for example, are middle of the field open because the exact middle doesn't have somebody there. So are there going to be more cover 4 like we tried to see more of last year, which confused the Cowboys' defensive players? Or do they go more simple with cover 3, cover 1, man stuff? I am curious to see how that defense gets deployed. That's what's got me the most concerned about the changes on defense, although they certainly are needed. But I do want to mention this again, too. It cannot all be on Dan Quinn. Expecting Dan Quinn to come in and magically fix everything that was wrong with the defense is unrealistic. I made this point back when he was first hired. It's on the players, too. The players, the personnel have to be better. Has it been upgraded enough? They made a lot of draft picks on the defense side of the ball. They added some good run stoppers, so I feel better, but I'm not wholly convinced that just like that, this defense is going to be top 10. I would love to see something close to league average. If that's the case, this Cowboys team, it could make some noise this season. So what is your confidence level then in Dan Quinn? Rate this for me on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you've got no confidence, you want him gone, you think he sucks. 10 being you think he's the best defensive coordinator in the NFL, and this defense is going to be drastically improved. Get your votes in for me in the comments section. As mentioned, today's show made possible by Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com, link right there, bottom of your screen. It'll also be in the comments section and the description, where you can get the new Lawnmower 4.0 for 20% off and free shipping, by the way, when you use promo code Cowboys. Manscaped, they did it for Dak, and maybe you guys out there should as well, because no one in your life wants a bunch of gross, nasty, sweaty hair down there. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. I feel better once I'm shaving and feeling a little bit fresher in the end. So go get the best men's grooming products out there, at manscaped.com. Don't forget to use promo code Cowboys to get 20% off and free shipping on the Lawnmower 4.0 and everything else available on their site. Let's stick with our theme of defense here. Is Bradlee Anae on the roster bubble? I'm giving this one 4 stars, and I think that is the unfortunate reality of where the Dallas Cowboys are at. I don't think that Bradlee Anae is locked into a roster spot as much as I would like him to be. The Cowboys have added several other defensive end options. They have added Chauncey Golston, Odighizuwa, so Brett Urban could play some kind of base package defensive end if needed. They added Terrell Basham. They have Dorrance Armstrong, DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory. The numbers game is real at the edge rusher spot. And with a new defensive coaching staff in place, at least at the top and on the defensive line as well, Bradlee Anae will have to impress. And his length isn't exactly what Dan Quinn has shown he covets in his brief time as the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. He didn't play much last year. For the record, as I said at the time, I thought was a significant mistake. I thought not putting Bradlee Anae out there in a lost season and seeing what he could do was foolish. But I get it, Mike Nolan was fighting for his job. When you look at his depth chart, right, I'm going to call Brett Urban, Odighizuwa, and kind of sort of Rondell Carter the defensive end, defensive tackle role. But even if you cross them out and you don't count them, there are 6 guys at defensive end, and I don't know if all 6 make this team. DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, Terrell Basham, Chauncey Golston, I think those guys are basically roster locks with where they were drafted or the investment made in them from a monetary perspective. That leaves Dorrance Armstrong and Bradlee Anae. You guys know who I would rather have make this team, but somebody high up in that organization is very high on Dorrance Armstrong. So what I'm saying here is let's free Anae. You can throw that hashtag in there in the comments section, free Anae, because I want him out there. I want to give him a chance. I like him more than Dorrance Armstrong, especially as a pass rusher. But we will see if the Cowboys feel the exact same way. Now, my 53-man roster projection is coming out this week. You can find out whether or not I had Bradlee Anae make the roster, or if he was cut, or maybe I did practice squad as well. If you want that video and videos every single day on everything going on around America's team, hit that big red button and subscribe today. A quick Cowboys news item here. Johnny Dixon has been signed. Not the receiver starting with a J that you guys wanted to add. We'll get to him in a second. But the Cowboys did pick up Dixon. They released William Sweet earlier last week, I should say. So there was a roster spot available. He's a long shot at best to make the roster. Over his career at Ohio State, 27 games, which he was severely banged up with some knee issues. 67 grabs for over 17 yards per catch, 16 touchdowns. But I guess he impressed in that tryout. I'm not going to set my expectations high at all for him to actually make the roster because there's Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, draft pick Simi Fehoko, several undrafted free agents, including Brandon Smith, who got a pretty good guaranteed amount of money there. So in the end, I don't think you're going to see Johnny Dixon make the roster in the end for the Cowboys. I think that's a little bit of a long shot for him. Speaking of long shots, well, maybe pipe dream is the better phrase there. And there's no Julio coming to the Cowboys. I wanted to briefly mention it because, he said on Undisputed he's not going to play for the Cowboys. As I warned you guys, it never really made sense. And by the way, what I think was a planned, sudden surprise appearance on Undisputed and getting caught in the Cowboys gear, starting to feel at least a little bit like a media push from Julio Jones' camp to find a way to get traded from the Falcons. And if we know anything by now, it's that NFL agents love to use the Cowboys as leverage to get a little bit more attention for whatever they're trying to get for their client.